Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and how are you all doing today? So here today on Abby the Witch, we are going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can see, I have a different background. I hope you enjoy my solid black background, complete with fairy dust, aka cat hair. And I'm going to be reacting to one of my old videos on here. Okay. I actually posted this on my community. I'm sorry, my webcam focuses in and out. It is what it is. Okay. Doing the best I can here. I actually posted something about this on my community tab a while back. One of my videos, I think it's from like 3 years ago. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. It's pretty crazy how much can change in just 3 years with anything, but like with myself and my practice in particular, wow. A lot has changed. A lot is different. So anyway, I thought it would be interesting if we reacted to this together. I have not watched this video fully through in a long time. So I'm just gonna like do it and just watch it all the way through with you guys here for the first time in a long time, and just react to it and just see what has changed, what's different. I might be kind of mean to myself. It's fine. I love myself. Okay. It's just for fun. This is all just for fun. Okay. So anyway, the video that we are going to be reacting to is top 5 witchy things I do and do not practice. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into this. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be It's really quiet. My audio was not great back then, guys. I'm really sorry. It's all the way up.
I was going to do a tarot card reading today, but I was inspired actually by another witch here on YouTube. Her name is Kelly Ann Maddox.
Maybe you've heard of her. Maybe you've heard of her, guys. I don't know.
Which is really funny to me because her last name is the same last name as my brother-in-law.
Sure.
Anyway, she actually posted a video a couple days ago talking about 10 witchy things that she does not really do that much or at all. So I was inspired by her to do something similar. And I'm going to do today, I'm going to have a talk about 5 witchy things I don't practice as much or at all, and 5 witchy things that I do practice that other.
Honestly, like, it's a really good idea. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm really proud of myself for coming up with this. Maybe I should revitalize this tag. Or if you guys want to do a VR to this video. Again, this was, let's see, when was this? Yeah, this was 3 years ago. So keep that in mind, okay, if you do a VR to this. Maybe I should redo it. That would be kind of cool. Maybe I should just redo it. But side note, I'd be looking hella cute in this video.
Other witches might not practice as much, right? So let's go ahead and start with the 5 witchy things that I don't practice as much. I hope you forgive me. I have my notebook here just in case I forget anything. On my list here so I can make sure I name everything for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so 5. Now, some of these things are things I'm just not really into. It's not really my cup of tea. But some of these things I am interested in doing. I just haven't been able to get around to it yet, or I haven't been able to learn much about it yet. The very first.
Honestly, scrying, there you go. Honestly though, like right off the bat, it's just like you can totally tell a difference in like how I feel about myself. You know, and I would say, oh, it's just like how I feel about myself in front of the camera. Like I felt like awkward, you know, because this is back when like I kind of like, it wasn't when I first started, but it was definitely like in the early days, you know. recording and posting on YouTube. But honestly, like, I really think it's deeper than that. Like I said, I have changed so much since then. I just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel so much better about myself and like more confident about myself. And I just like, part of that's like just growing up, right? Like, you know, I'm in my mid 30s now. Like, it's just, I don't know. And it's only 3 years ago, but still, like, I don't know. I feel like you change a lot in your 30s, just like you do in your 20s. But I really owe it to my practice, dude. Like, I have changed a lot. A lot. Yeah.
First thing is scrying. Now, this is definitely one of those things that I definitely want to get more into. If you're not familiar with it,
Yeah, scrying. If you've been following me since then, up until now, like, you know that like scrying is like one of my number one things of divination. Not like my number one things, but it's like it's definitely up there for how I like do divination. I used to call it eyelid scrying, but now I know that was a long time ago when I called it eyelid scrying. I still do eyelid scrying to a degree, like, you know, if I just want like a little message or something like that. But full on, what I thought was full on eyelid scrying was actually witch flight. You know, it's like, or astral travel if you want to call it that. But I was actually doing witch flight before I knew it was witch flight. Interesting. So anyway, but yeah, I do scrying all the time now. Like, that's, yeah, a huge part of my practice.
that scrying is the art of crystal ball gazing or mirror gazing, mirror magic. It's mostly just reading into a crystal or being able to read a crystal or a black mirror, right? So
Way more than that, right? Scrying is scrying means like a million different things. Like I said, it can be eyelid scrying, it could be water scrying, you can do cloud scrying, you can do fucking earth scrying and look into the fucking dirt. Yeah.
I really would love to get more into that. Traditionally, mirror scrying is with mirrors made out of black tourmaline, I believe. But modern day witches, a lot of modern day witches, I've noticed anyway, simply use black spray paint, black velvet. You can even get like a picture frame and put black velvet underneath the glass.
Yeah, I've actually done that. I've spray painted a black mirror.
Scrying there. Again, like I've said in my past couple ago videos about programming, you can pretty much program anything you want to do. You want
Programming. So spiritual programming. This was kind of back when I was still like, as like cringy and as embarrassing as it is to say, I was still like teetering on new age, without even knowing it. Right? Like, I didn't even understand. I feel like a lot of witches I have talked to always start out like in the new age community because it's such a big community and it's so like easy to be manipulated into thinking that that's what a witch is, in my opinion. So a lot of beginner witches, which I wasn't beginner at this point. I'd already been a practicing witch, but like it was still like towards the start of when I came out as an active witch, right? So I was still at that like that point of teetering on new age without knowing it. And so I would say things like astral travel, and I would say things like like ways to manifest by writing it down, and I would do like I just said, programming. Sorry, spiritual programming. Now I say like enchanting items, like I can enchant something or infuse with my magic or, you know, something like that. Yeah.
And in my witchy experience. So that's definitely the first thing that I do not practice. Definitely one that I want to get more into for sure. Let's go ahead and go on to the next one. The next thing that I don't practice as much, or I'd say I do a little bit, but just not as much as other witches, specific deities.
Oh.
I know a lot of witches who there's a specific deity that they pray to or give offerings to like every day. I don't really have specific deities. I do love the goddess and the god.
Hold on a second. Oh my god, I told you guys this was going to be embarrassing. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not really into the goddess and the god anymore. I'm not really into that concept anymore. That's definitely obviously a very Wiccan thing. Definitely not Wiccan. Although I will say that I definitely I worship the devil. I follow the devil. The devil is my friend, so that's definitely like the god, the Wiccan god, the horned whatever. It's the same thing, basically. So, but like the concept of like just the goddess and the god, and you have to dedicate yourself to the goddess and the god, and then like procreating and then having sex together and all that. Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm not into that. But it's just so funny that I said that because I'm not into that at all now. And the whole like, oh, I'm not really into specific deities. Okay, well now I work with fucking Lilith. I worship Lilith. I worship the devil. I worship, if you call a devil a deity, I don't know. I don't know what he is. I don't have to know. I worship Vul. I worship Balaam. Does that mean I give offerings every single fucking day and pray to them every single fucking day? No. But I'm in the process of taking back the word religious, right? And turning it into something that works for me. So, yeah.
The traditional Wiccan goddess and the god. However, I'm not really sure how I picture them in my head. You can picture the goddess and the god however you want. So I think I kind of picture the goddess as Gaia, and the god I haven't really figured out yet. That's just me personally. And I kind of honestly...
Yeah, I hadn't figured out the god yet because it was the fucking devil. It was the fucking devil. And I didn't really fuck with the goddess too much. The goddess. Because the devil was trying to get my attention. This was like a really fuzzy time for me. I was like almost resistant to it. But yeah, it was the devil. I just hadn't figured it out yet.
Don't know how I feel about them being like, I almost feel like the goddess and the god is simply like the earth, the universe, nature, the elements. I feel like they kind of represent those things more than anything to me. I know some witches might really disagree with that, but that's okay.
Facts. I feel like, especially specifically within the trad witch community, a lot of people argue about what the devil is. You know, like, is he deity? Is he spirit? Is he like witchcraft manifested? You know, and I feel like I've gotten into it, not gotten into it, but I've had discussions with different like satanic witches. Yeah, about what he is.
There is a specific deity that I've been wanting to get to know more. It's Santa Morte.
The devil. The devil. No, just kidding. Santa Morte. Oh, really? I'm surprised I said that. That must have been very fleeting because that quickly turned into death. Grim Reaper, death, whatever you want to call them. I mean, I've always been obsessed with the Grim Reaper, and I think that's why Santa Morte was intriguing to me for a while, but now I know it's just that. It's the Grim Reaper, it's death. Which Santa Morte, you could argue, is the same thing. I don't know. Maybe they're not to you. But yeah, that was definitely me tapping into my death energy, my death witch. Yeah.
Also, like I said, the goddess and the god, Gaia. Definitely, there are some other goddesses and gods that I think are very interesting. However, if I learned more about them,
The devil. Okay, let's just skip ahead to the next one.
Thing I don't practice as much is astrology. No, please don't at me. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, this is still true. I honestly, you know what's so interesting is for a while I started getting into like real sky astrology because of my friend Rochelle and my other friend Courtney. And it's really interesting and it makes more sense to me because it's based on how the real sky is mapped out. However, now I'm kind of getting back into astrology, but it's Western. I know. I'm sorry, Rochelle. Uh, but it's like I'm more into like my sun side for Western. Like I feel like I definitely am way more into an Aries. Like my sun sign for Western astrology is Aries, whereas my true real sky, that sun sign is Pisces. I don't really feel like a Pisces, man. I feel like I tried to feel like a Pisces because I was ashamed of my anger a long time ago. But no, I'm an Aries. I'm totally an Aries. I'm 1,000% an Aries. God damn. Now, however, my moon and rising, that's a different story. I feel like I relate way more to my real sky, moon and rising, which is they're both Leo. I'm all three fire. Whereas in my Western, my moon and rising is Virgo and a Leo, maybe? I'm not sure, but I just don't relate to it as much. But my sun sign, dude, like I'm an Aries. And I kind of want to get back into it and just like, yeah, and just explore Western astrology a little bit more.
I know my sun, I know my moon, I know my rising.
But I still don't really fuck with it that much.
I definitely have dabbled in it. Like I've learned that I'm more of a cuspy than I'm technically an Aries, right? But I never really felt comfortable so like fully associating myself with Aries.
Yeah, see, this was still way back in like this was still way before I did shadow work with wrath and my anger, and even now, yeah, I'm working with the sin of wrath for Witch's Blacklint currently. But even before now, like I had started working with just doing shadow work on my anger, you know? And I'm more comfortable with it now. And I now know that I didn't want to associate with Aries because of that. You know, Aries have that reputation of being very fiery. They have a temper, whatever you want to call it. And I just didn't, I was ashamed of it. I was embarrassed. Like yeah. Anyway, I'm not like that anymore. I'm an Aries, 1,000%. And I am fucking proud of that now.
But once I learned I was more of a cuspy, I actually learned that last year.
I'm really not a cuspy. Again, that was because I was embarrassed. I wanted to push myself being a cuspy. Like I'm like a few days away from the cusp. So I'm picking up on that energy maybe a little bit, but I'm not a cuspy. So
I don't think it's as
okay. We get it. I resonates with me now. So let's skip to the next one.
wand usage. Now, I actually haven't met too many witches that have
I'm opening a can,
wand.
sorry.
Now, I could be wrong. I just haven't heard too many witches talking about it, or I've seen too many witches using it in their practice.
Okay, this was before I like knew about. I didn't know about as many traditions back then as I do now. I know that some traditions, especially Wiccan, like British traditional witchcraft and like traditional Wicca even, I feel like they utilize a wand. Correct me if I'm wrong. American trad is different. But like I'm not someone who uses a wand. I've just never been into it. My very much ex-friend Abby, don't give a fuck about saying her name. I really just fucking don't. She made me a wand a long time ago when we were friends, and it was really beautiful. I don't even know what fucking happened to it. I think I might have burned it. Anyway, I had it for display, right? I never really used it. Personally, using a wand in my practice kind of makes me feel like fucking Mickey Mouse. Like I don't get into it. It's just not for me. To each their own though.
I would love to utilize apple tree wood, and that's actually one of the most popular types of wood to use for wands. I would love to use apple wood one day.
Is it?
I don't know if I really want to.
Is it? Comment down below. Is it?
Use that for like
Is that true?
my own witch's broom. I would love to make a witch's broom one day.
I've also have made a besom since then, out of apple wood. I still love apple wood. I've used apple wood for a lot of things. I've used apple wood for fertility, for conceiving my daughter and son. I've used apple wood for my besom. I've used apple wood for some other things, I think. I don't know. But yeah, apple trees, apple wood, apples in general, fucking magical. If you've never used it, you should utilize it. Look into all the different magic you can do with it. You can hex people with an apple. It's fucking cool.
I don't cast a magic spell, or I don't cut out a sacred space. Now, this again.
Oh, I meant to say circle. Okay, here we go. Magic circle or cutting a sacred space. I still don't feel like it's necessary. I really don't. I don't think that a circle is necessary. I don't think that calling in the directions, the cardinal directions, or the elements, anything like that, I don't do any of that. I also don't do super high ceremonial magic a lot of the time. And even the few times I have done super high ceremonial magic, I still haven't casted a circle. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like casting a circle and using the cardinal directions and all that is pretty British trad. It's pretty Wiccan. I mean, I've met tons of witches that weren't those things and still casted circles, sure. But like, I don't know. For some reason, it's just, I still don't do it. So.
Or I don't cut out a sacred space. Now, this again, I think is similar to astrology in that a lot of witches are gonna come for my throat for this. A lot of witches think it's so important, not only to enhance your magic, but to protect yourself. Now, I don't think it's really necessary. What I do before any ceremony, ritual, or any kind of practice that I do, I always cleanse with sage. I cleanse myself, and I
don't really use sage anymore. White sage, I don't use it, because I've been educated since then. I do use Palo Santo currently only because I have a lot of it I need to use up, but I have been educated since then as well. Yeah, but I do cleanse myself before I do spell work. I cleanse myself pretty much every day when I'm at my altar. But especially before spell work or any kind of like magical working, cleanse myself and ask for protection too.
Will charge it with selenite, usually, at least my tarot reading space.
I don't do that anymore.
I always call on my guides to help protect me through my tourmaline and my black candle. I always ask for protection. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. The only difference is that I don't really use crystals that much anymore. Again, this is when I was still teetering on New Age. I still use crystals, some from time to time. I still do like black obsidian and labradorite. Especially black obsidian for like that dark moon energy, that death energy. But like selenite to charge my space and black tourmaline to ask for protection, I don't do that anymore. Yeah, I still do candle gazing though. I still do stare into my black protection candle. I just do it differently now.
That's a whole other rabbit hole I can go down, and what I give them in return and things like that. But I don't, like I said, I really don't think it's not for me. It's really not necessary. Like I said, I ask my guides, I call on my guides to protect me. I use my tourmaline, I use my black candle. I I call on animal spirits to protect me.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I don't really fuck with animal spirits anymore, only in the sense, like, I used to be an animal witch bitch, okay? Like, that was my thing. Not that I don't love animals anymore. I love animals, and I love utilizing animal spirits in my practice. However, I don't know. It just feels different now. I guess because I'm like a trad witch now, like I'm a traditional witch. So animals just, I don't really view them as guides anymore. I view them as like, some of them might be like a familiar spirit or like fetch maybe. Yeah, different from back then. Back then it was definitely more of like a new age thing in the sense that like I had animal spirit guides and shit, which is like, yeah, not okay as like a white person, honestly. I've been a lot more educated since then.
Yeah, and I really don't think that it's necessary. I also, I believe protection is very, very important.
Still believe that. Still believe that.
And I put little things that protect me around my house, right? So I almost always feel protected anyway. I guess what I'm trying to say is my whole house is my sacred space, right? Like I
Yeah,
can
still
still
feel that
be
way.
outside in my house. I used to have a broom hanging outside my house, but I had to take that down because my dogs kept seeing it through the window of my door and kept thinking it was a person and barking at it, so I had to move it. But I have a witch bottle in my house next to my front door. I never sweep out of my front door. Just little things like that
I was way more superstitious back then, but I definitely still do similar things to that. Like every morning I have this ritual, and it's not every morning, but it's 99% of the time I wind up at my altar in the morning when my son takes his first nap. And I'll cleanse myself, I'll spread protection using energy from my protection candle. And what else do I do? I use my full moon candle. You know, I could go into detail, but I still basically do this, but I usually just use like the energy from my protection candle to spread protection throughout my house. I don't really like place things around my house so much anymore. Not one's not less effective than the other. I still protect my whole home. But I use it using like a charm that I have, and I use it using the energy from that candle. So
I know I'm protected, right? And like I said, I always take the time to ask for protection from my guides too as well. So in enhancing my magic, I believe that simple meditation, crystals, herbs, candles, a lot of those things enhance your magic already. And I definitely believe that my intent or my mental space enhances my magic as well. That's just me. I know a lot of witches,
yeah,
especially Wiccan, I've noticed, like very specifically Wiccan witches, casting a magic circle or cutting a sacred space is very important. And the word is slipping my mind, but the knife that you use for
Athame.
carving a sacred space and cutting it to walk through, I believe it's called, I forget what it's called.
Athame.
But I know it's a ritual knife. It's a ritual knife. But there's a very fancy word for it. I'll try to put it somewhere.
I think there's another word for it too. But since then I have learned too that there is like way more tools out there too that a lot of witches have traditionally at their altar. You know, it's not just like a chalice, a knife, you know, it depends on the tradition, right? If you are some sort of trad witch.
All right, guys, that is my list of 5 things I do not practice as much as other witches, or really at all. And so let's move on to the next list, which is 5 witchy things I do practice that other witches may not practice as much.
All right, guys, so this is already almost 35 minutes long. I think I'm going to break this up into 2 parts because otherwise it's going to be like super long. And I just don't have time to record the whole thing today. So I'm going to break this up into 2 parts. That'll be fun to have a part 2. So let me know down below what you guys thought of this. Did you enjoy watching this? Is this something that you would like to see part 2 of? Would you like me to like redo this top 5 things I do and do not practice, and do it that way? I would do that too. Let me know down below what you'd like to see. If you would like to see the part 2. Just a couple of things I would like to announce. Please don't forget that the Witches for Palestine is still going on. If you'd like to add your questions to the list in the Google form, that Google form link is in my About section here on YouTube. You can go there and add questions, anything you have about Palestine, what's going on in Gaza. There is going to be a live Q&A on another channel. I'll try to link that down below in the description. I forget what it's called, but I'll link that channel down below. And they will answer your questions anonymously, okay? Also, you can follow me over on Instagram. I have an open account now over there, open public, okay? Abby the Witch over on Instagram. And I have a Patreon now, if you would like to follow me over on Patreon, $5 a month, okay? So that is all I have for today, guys. Until next time, I hope you stay very well. And don't forget to follow the snake. Bye.